Desiree. I'm the proprietress at FACE, and I'm also an advanced NeurOptimal trainer. And I'm going to go through everything you need in order to set up NeurOptimal sessions on your own. The first thing you need is the tablet with the NeurOptimal software. And you'll also need an AC adapter. You always want to run your sessions plugged in. This powers the tablet. One word with this, if they're coiled too tightly, they can break really easily, so be careful with the coiling of those. You will also need what's known as the Z-amp. The Z-amp is the transductor of the cortical activity that's picked up by the electrodes. It's an analog signal and it's brought into the tablet, and this converts it into a digital signal. Also, this is extremely fragile and the most expensive part of this whole setup, so be extra careful with this. You will also need this USB cable that will connect from the Z-amp to the tablet. And here are the electrodes. You need a set, one for the left side and one for the right side. And you will always need this conduction paste coating the electrodes that touch the actual skin. And then if you have a lot of hair, you'll need some hair clips. Now that we have the machine all connected, so for the electrodes, we want to connect the electrodes to the Z-amp. And you'll have two different sets of electrodes. One side is the right side and it's got 3 pieces, and the other side is the left side with 2 pieces. I'm gonna start with the right side. The black, which is unique to the right side, has the ground, and it's at the bottom of the earlobe. It says earlobe here. The yellow goes actually onto the scalp, or called head. And then the other one goes at the top of the ear, and it's blue on the right side. The left side, we have the yellow one for the head and the blue one for the top of the ear. Now we are ready to put the conduction paste on the electrodes. And this is the yellow that's going to go against the scalp. We give a nice, generous ice cream scoop size. We don't want any of the silver showing. We want anything that's going to touch the skin to be completely covered in conduction paste. Here is the ear piece, and now I need to do both sides of the clip. Nice big scoop, nice big scoop. Check it out, make sure that there won't be any silver touching the flesh. Now I'm going to attach the electrodes. So I'm starting with the right side and making sure I'm getting all the right side cables. And the right side again has this unique ground, and it goes on the bottom of the ear. So I'm clipping it there, and it's got a generous amount of conduction paste, so none of the silver is touching the skin. And the blue one goes on top of the ear, and the yellow one, which is picking up all the cortical activity from the frontal lobe to the occipital lobe, it goes about 1.5 inches above the ear, and you want to part the hair as much as possible and push that electrode in and get a nice stick. This is really important to stay the duration of the session so that you're actually getting the feedback. All right, so left side, I am starting with the blue that goes to the top of the ear, and of course there's no ground on the left side. And then the yellow goes about 1 inch to 2 inches above the ear, kind of in the center of the brain. This is Shimeko, and we're gonna run a session on Shimeko. I am pulling her hair back on the sides to access her scalp about 1.5 to 2 inches above each ear. And I've already pre-connected the electrodes. I've identified what's the right side and what's the left side, and I've already pre-dressed them with the conduction paste. So the black is always the ground on the right side. So I'm gonna go ahead and clip that on. The blue is always the top of the ear, and I'm in the blue for the right side, so I'm going to clip that on. And now the yellow always goes against the scalp. Again, make sure we never have any of the silver showing. We want to make sure the conduction paste totally covers the area. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, the left side, but minus the ground. So the blue is the top of the ear, and the yellow is on the scalp. When the NeurOptimal app is fully launched, all you're going to do is go to the Vault and click this line under Client in the left-hand column. You're going to double click it, and then it's going to initialize the device and automatically start the session. Now that the 33-minute session has fully run its course, we're going to take off the electrodes carefully, trying to get not to get the conductive paste everywhere. What I typically do is put the electrodes in a little bowl or dish for cleanup. And to clean up your ears and your scalp, you can use a baby wipe. You can use a wet cloth or an alcohol pad. So boiling water works quite well, and you can just pour the hot water, the hot boiling water, over the electrodes. You don't need to worry about the cables, and it will just dissolve. And you can see that they're clean now. And pat them dry. Make sure there's no moisture on them, and then you can wrap them neatly and store them until your next session.